Hi, good afternoon. My name is Wei Li, and I coordinate work integrated learning programs here at Swinburne. And with me is my colleague Nicola Fish, who is a lecturer of work integrated learning here at Swinburne. So, very quick 2-minute presentation today on reflection and how it can help you, our placement student. Nick, can you just tell me a little bit about the reflection models we use here at Swinburne?
Let students choose a particular model they might be familiar with. We don't actually say they have to use either of these models, but we do put two forward through in the unit. So the first one is Gibbs Reflective Cycle, which you can see on the screen, and that is a cycle that steps students through particular phases of the reflection, starting off with a description and working your way through to an action plan. And the second model that we advocate is the STAR model, again another reflection framework. However, the model is slightly different. It only has 4 stages, and it also helps prepare students to respond to behavioural interview questions.
And those students ask me the $1 million question: why should they reflect? What is the practical application? How does that actually help them undergo their placement experience?
Great question. So it's a question we get a lot from students, and a lot of groans and eye rolling because they're not particularly keen of reflection. They're not keen about it, or they just don't understand it. More often than not, once they start, they actually start to appreciate what it is. Fundamentally, what we're doing here, we're consciously reflecting on ourselves as a professional. So we reflect all the time in our everyday lives, but this is conscious and purposeful reflection in the workplace. Fundamentally, we want students to think about what they're doing and what they're learning from that, and that learning in the context of their future professional self. So it's constantly reflecting on situations and events and how they can improve themselves as a professional. So it's relatively simple when you think about it like that. The hardest part is getting students to realise that it's something they need to practice regularly whilst they're undertaking this experience.
Yeah, so it's conscious and it's purposeful. So I thought I'd give you a personal example. A lot of times, I like to show, not tell. So for the purpose of the next short while, I'm going to give you a short example of how I have personally used the Gibbs Reflective Cycle. So on the screen right now, you can see the cycle, and this is how I've actually used it. So we tend to go for interviews when you're looking for a job, and after every interview, I actually have a piece of paper that I write. I jot down the questions that were asked, how I felt during the interview, what was I thinking, what was I feeling. I'd evaluate the questions, I'd evaluate my answers, my responses, and I'd even come up with an analysis of what answers were good, what answers were bad, how could I better prepare for the next time. Was it research that I didn't do properly, or were there examples to a behavioral type question that I didn't answer as well as I could have. I come with a conclusion of what else I could have done, and this forms part of my action plan. So the next time I go for an interview, I definitely have learned from my mistakes, and I definitely am better prepared just because I knew what my weak points were, and I could use and prepare better the next time round. Would you say that's a fair example of how someone could use a reflection?
So it's really evaluating what happened, so the experience of the interview itself, and what you've learned from that. And then, of course, you're then saying, well, this is going to inform my future interview by doing this. So I think that's really relevant. And also, one of the beautiful things about reflection is that it instills in us skills that's valued by potential employers. So some of those skills are being self-reflective, being able to analyse ourselves, and when we start to think about our professional selves, we start to think about, well, what do I do well, what could I improve, and so forth. Interpersonal skills, your own self-development, and of course your ability to critically reflect on your own performance, and that's really valuable. So it's a really valuable tool both personally and professionally, and it ties to all of the assessment and tasks that students will undertake throughout their experience.
Let me look at one short clip and we hope that it's helped inform your practice and your practical experience. Thank you.
Bye.